We're in Maple Grove, not to be confused with Angel Grove, for a big-time Saturday matinee edition of high school girls basketball. Today, the Maple Grove Crimson, back-to-back Section 8 4A champions, host the Chaska Hawks. Both teams with a young core, a lot of history, and a lot of scoring. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Peden, joined by LaToya, Turk, and LaToya. When we talk about all the scoring coming into this matchup, we have three 1,000-point scores in this game. Chaska has two of them, Mallory Hire and Kaylee VanEps. They both reached 1,000 in the same game at the Park Center Holiday Invite. And for Maple Grove, Jordan Lampert is at 1,000, and she's on pace to set the all-time scoring record here in Maple Grove.
So with that being said, Mike, we can definitely expect to see a high-scoring game. We know that these girls are going to put the ball up, and they have an offensive mindset.
Chaska has done a lot of that over the last couple of years as they build with that young core. A lot of big wins, including one over section rival Eden Prairie. That one with an extra bit of excitement as Destiny Burst transferred to the Eagles. But Chaska brought back a lot, including Mallory Hire, Kaylee VanEps, as we noted in the open, and Kennedy Sanders moving into the starting lineup as a freshman, doing real well. This Chaska team got everyone's attention when they beat Farmington a year ago. This year, they're closing in on that 10th win, and doing so against Maple Grove would be a nice boost to the resume.
And both of these teams have had some really big games this year, and they both are very young, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle matching up against each other tonight.
Maple Grove has Jordan Lampert and another athlete closing in on 1,000 points, Abby Schulte. Schulte going to North Dakota State. She dropped 40 in a three-point win over Rogers. This Maple Grove team maybe flies under the radar when you compare them to the likes of Hopkins or Wayzata or Stillwater over the last 2 years, but they've made it to state the last couple of years. They have that young core, so a lot of talent, a lot of experience, and one of three teams with a legitimate chance of making it to state out of Section 8.
Absolutely, and they've proven themselves in the past 2 years, so we'll see what they do this year.
And we'll see what they do today. We'll be back for the starting lineup. This is high school girls basketball. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. Mike Peden back here with LaToya Turk. LaToya, never too late for a first. This is our first visit to Maple Grove out in the Northwest Suburban, and it's been a conference that is a microcosm of Class 4A this year. Everything we thought we knew about Class 4A has gone out the window.
Absolutely. Everything's up for grabs right now. Some teams that we expected to win, they've taken some losses here recently, so everyone's coming.
Well, we had a lot of examples of that this week in the Northwest Suburban where Maple Grove resides. Elk River getting a big win over Park Center, and then a couple days later, Blaine got a win over Elk River, right. And then Andover knocked off Centennial. So Mark Cook told me it's just indicative of how much the conference has grown. You know, a few years ago, he said a lot of those matchups you weren't looking forward to because they were going to be runaway wins. Not anymore.
Right. And just the state of girls women's basketball right now is at an all-time high for Minnesota. We have some really elite players here. We have some really good players that are playing at a very high level. Just right now, our basketball scene looks really nice.
The only consensus anyone can agree on is that Hopkins is the top team in the state.
Agreed.
Let's take a look at the starting five for the visiting Chaska Hawks. It's Kennedy Sanders, number 2. Kelsey Willems, number 5. Kaylee VanEps, number 14. Mallory Hire, number 24. And Kendall Carmen, number 33. Maple Grove will start Kylie Baronic, number 12. Abby Schulte, number 21. Izzy Brandt, number 23. Jordan Lampert, number 32. And Sophia Corman, number 42. The Crimson winning Section 8 for the last 2 years. This year, there are 3 teams who have a legitimate chance of getting out of that section: Maple Grove, St. Michael Albertville, and Elk River. And Chaska in Section 2. Shakopee made it to state last year from that group. Eden Prairie, a little up and down this year. They've been one of the surprises as far as teams you thought would be ones to watch. That being said, they could beat anybody, and they can lose to anybody, it seems. Minnetonka on the rise, so there are easily 4 teams, Chaska being one of them, that could get out of Section 2.
Right. For these ladies, they're just going to have to show up every night and play. It's like you say, at any given night, it's anybody's win.
That's been the theme this year, and it extends all the way to the other classes. With De La Salle, Holy Angels, and Becker in 3A. In 2A, that's always unpredictable, but we've got ourselves a fun battle here. No section implications, no conference implications on the line, although with where these 2 teams are at, whoever gets a win, it will be a nice boost to the resume. Both teams have a series of them already. Chaska, winners of 3 in a row. Maple Grove has won the last 2. Offensive rebound, 3 on the way. Kelsey Willems knocks it down.
That's pretty gutsy. We got number 2 out there.
Kennedy Sanders?
Yes. Freshman, starting point guard. Goes right to the rack on the first play.
She was first off the bench last year for the Hawks.
Both teams right away at the beginning of the game are going to a man-to-man defense.
That's a walk.
Look pretty, though.
Right idea, but needed another step or 2, or needed to bounce it one more time. Sanders to higher. Now Willems has the rock, steps into an elbow J, swish.
And that's the same play from the first possession there. That free throw line is the Crimson. They're going to have to figure out how to rotate over it defensively.
This game, one of many that moved up as Lampert unable to get the floater. One of many games that were moved up today to avoid overlapping with the Vikings 49ers playoff game.
Oh, nice seal there.
That's Mallory Higher. And Higher, no stranger to big-time environments. Chaska beat Farmington a year ago, if you recall, and it was Mallory Higher who made the game-winning drive in the closing seconds. It was a tie game. Higher, fearless. 3 on the way. Crimson can't knock it down. And while high school teams around the state are making accommodations for the Vikings 49ers game, Kennedy Sanders, her dad, her family, they're big Packers fans. So after this game, they will actually make the trek to Lambeau Field tomorrow as Kendall Carmen scores. Quick timeout by Maple Grove.
This Chaska team might be small in height, but they are not afraid to take that ball in the lane. We've seen them several times put the ball on the floor and go right in the lane.
Well, they do have some height in Mallory Higher and Kendall Carmen. Mallory Higher at 6'1", but it's the Hawks on a quick 9-0 start. And as we were saying, this Chaska team, they have a bevy of big wins on the resume. They beat Bloomington Jefferson handily last night, but some of their wins include Simley, Minnetonka, Eden Prairie. They got a big win over Waconia and Lakeville North. So
all very competitive teams, yeah.
They played well against Wayzata. Hopkins lost that one by 19. Tara Seifert told me there was a 4-minute stretch at the end of the first half where that Hopkins pressure got to them, and as you know with Hopkins, you can't have a bad stretch at all.
At all.
You've got to bring your A game no matter what. But Tara felt it was a big step forward for her program, and this Chaska team has no seniors. Free throws coming for Izzy Brandt of the Crimson.
Maple Grove gets on the board with that free throw. we'll also get to see Ari Gordon as she checks in for Maple Grove.
Ari Gordon wearing number 34. Maple Grove dealing with some illnesses as of late. Mark Cook told me he's hoping to get his team healthy, and he feels once the illness bug, whatever it is, moves its way through, that will help out. And Maple Grove, as we were saying, they have a tough non-conference slate. They played Wayzata earlier this year. The Northwest Suburban has gotten a lot better over the last few years.
Nice slip.
There's Kennedy Sanders, too strong. Here's Baronic. They swing it around. Ari Gordon, 3-ball. That's a high arcing shot.
Yes.
And Baronic gets in there for the rebound.
This Chaska team is really scrappy. Nice slip.
Abby Schulte converts on the high-low play. Well, in Chaska, their conference got a little smaller this year when Richfield left the Metro West to join the Tri-Metro, as VanEps fires the 3 off the mark, and the rebound will go to Maple Grove. Here's Abby Schulte looking for Gordon on the backdoor play.
Good ball rotation.
That leaves Jordan Lampert for 3. She won't get the bounce. So while Chaska lost a conference opponent, it was a benefit because it gave them 2 extra non-conference dates, which they used to play in that Park Center invite. Mallory Heyer draws a foul.
And, you know, during warm-ups, I was just saying I want to see how many times they use that step through. That was a part of their actual warm-up routine, was practicing that step through. Love good footwork.
Mallory Heyer, a volleyball and basketball crossover, and, well, this you don't see often. She was a competitive gymnast until 5th grade.
Actually, Mike, a lot of the young ladies are gymnasts.
Well, so was Nneka Gwumake, and then the story goes they compete in gymnastics and then they get too tall for the sport.
Yeah, Demaya was a gymnast.
Well, that explains everything. No wonder why she got 31. She was probably able to duck her way through all those defenders.
Looks like the refs letting them play tonight.
11-4 in the first half. I should point out Demaya got 31 against New Life Academy. One of 2 big wins for your Maranatha Mustangs this week. And then
we're looking forward for the conference play over at MCA. New conference, the Skyline Conference. We'll see what that brings us this year.
Well, it got you guys a big win over a team that had won the first 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I covered Minnehaha Providence last night, and Connor Gates, the Providence head coach, said they may not have the depth that they used to, but they're scrappy. And
oh, yeah.
as you played them twice, Izzy Brandt knocks down the corner 3, and Maple Grove, it looks like they have withstood that first surge from Chaska to make it 11-7. Kaylee VanEps. That was a tough drive.
Oh, weight rooming.
On Abby Schulte. Like you said, this Chaska team is scrappy, and Kaylee VanEps demonstrating why.
And so one of the differences that I'm seeing between the 2 teams is that offensively, Chaska's actually setting their picks.
VanEps got the steal, and then she was fouled. I believe it was Ari Gordon. Now Maple Grove in the last poll, as Mallory Heyer fires the 3 and no good, fell just outside the top 10, and that only disappoints me because had they stayed there, I could have claimed a week where I covered all top 10 teams.
Yeah.
I hit up number 1 and 2 and 3A. We've got free throws coming for Jordan Lampert, and then 2A, Providence and Minnehaha. Well, I guess you can't have everything. Jordan Lampert makes the front end. Lampert plays volleyball and golf at Maple Grove in addition to basketball. She also has a lot of nicknames, including Jordo, Lammy, and Lamo.
And I think we're going to see a tough showdown between her and Mallory. Mallory's been playing her pretty tough in the paint, so I'm going to see if she'll step out and take some jump shots.
And if you want to approach Lampert, her favorite nicknames are Jordy and Joe. 13-9, Maple Grove trailing Chaska. 3 from the wing. Carmen can't knock it down.
Oh, it just slipped right out of her hands. That's a tough one.
Now, Chaska was a perennial of yesteryear, going back to the 2000s.
Well, it looks like they're doing a great job of rebuilding this program.
Well, they classed down to 3A temporarily after Chanhassen opened, but went back to 4A as the student body regrew. 3 on the way. Bullseye!
Great vision.
Ashley Schulke.
To be able to create that space for herself and find that open spot, and then just that one more pass. Great ball rotation there. Definitely their Chaska's playing together. Nice seal.
And free throws coming for number 44, Emma Cans.
You know, we talk about as coaches when the girls are warming up, we want them to take the shots on the floor from where they're going to be in their plays, and I can say that both of these teams, I watched them warm up and they're spot on.
Well, these aren't two teams who came in out of the blue. You know, Chaska got everyone's attention when they beat Farmington last year, and Maple Grove, they beat St. Michael Albertville twice in Section 8 over the last couple of years to get to state.
Not an easy feat.
VanEps in trouble. They get out of it. Ari Gordon times the pass. She's off to the races and can't finish the layup.
No.
I've seen that more than my fair share of times this week. Kennedy Sanders gets her own miss. Sanders working off the screen. That's an offensive foul. Izzy Branch, she saw the screen coming and put herself in position, just waited for the charge.
That's a great feeling as a player to take a charge. You're so hesitant. You're like, oh,
I was gonna
what's
say,
the ref gonna do?
Well, it probably is a good feeling. At the same time, I can't imagine you're feeling all too good about waiting for the hit. Like, you know it's coming.
Well, there's a technique to that.
Maple Grove threw it away there. That's not what you want after a defensive stop like that.
And they've had a couple of those turnovers where it just kind of errant passes. And they slow down and run some of their sets here.
Three from the top of the key. Carmen can't knock it down. Rebound going to Kylie Baranek. This is Lampert. Baranek for 3. Off the heel.
Great box out.
That was Kayla Hendrickson. And here's Schulke. Chaska getting after it offensively on the rebounds. Sanders missing the 3. Maple Grove.
Great job getting it to the middle. Great job. Great transition offense there. Guard got the rebound, got it to the middle. Joe ran the lane well. Now she's at the free throw line.
Lampert, 10 points or more in every game except one this season. That was Wyzetta. She had a season-high 20 in the win over Rogers, averaging 15 points per game. And Mark Cook told me Lampert, depending on how the season goes for Maple Grove, could end up with the school record for career points either at the end of this season or early next year. So Lampert already closing in on history.
Well, she has 3 right now. They're making it very difficult for her to score right now. But I think if she keeps putting the shots up and going to the basket, she can see some calls and get to the free throw line.
Ashley Schulte found a hole, and she will shoot 2.
Personal foul is on Kara Holt with the Crimson number 15. That's her first.
Yeah, you can hear Maple Grove's coach talking to his girls about communicating on those screens, which Chaska's doing a very good job of screening. I guess when you're a team that's as small in size as they are, it's a great asset to be able to set a good pick.
This is a 60-second timeout.
Chaska calling timeout, both with 4 remaining.
Any Vikings fans in the house today?
Of course, we're going to get Vikings warm-ups here. There's the Skull chant. There were some folks who were surprised that so many teams moved their games around to avoid overlapping, but it's not like you run into this all the time. It's just one of those rare exceptions.
Wow.
What can I say? We love it when our professional teams do well, and when you get an upset win like the Vikings did on Sunday, that's going to pump you up. Speaking of, Kaylee VanEps, another one of Chaska's stalwarts, has a lot of involvement at the school. A 3-sport athlete, lacrosse and soccer, and outside of that, she participates in DECA, Key Club, and CAP.
It's a busy schedule.
I think someone got a piece of it on Baronic's shot. Now Chaska
Yes.
with a chance to push it up. Hendrickson for 3, off the mark. Maple Grove ball.
Yeah, the refs are really letting them play tonight, or today. It's a day for us here.
It is a daytime game, yes. Maple Grove may not have the household names that some other schools do, but they do have some history in this sport. And one of them being Mackenzie Barta, the daughter of Chuck Barta, the athletic trainer for the Minnesota Lynx. Kenzie played here at Maple Grove and then college ball at Harvard. And Chaska's history, as I was alluding to earlier, if that name sounds familiar, many, many moons ago, Chaska had a Miss Basketball in their ranks, and Courtney Boylan, who won Miss Basketball in 2008, played college ball at Michigan.
That's impressive, Mike. It's impressive for the program, and it's impressive that you recall it.
It's the 15th foul on the Crimson.
Traveling violation. Schulte wants that one back. 8:56 to go in the first half, 18-11.
So let's see if this Maple Grove team can settle down and run their offense, set good picks, and get open. One thing with the Chaska team is that because they set so many picks, they're great defenders against the picks.
Tie up. Maple Grove with the arrow.
And Kendall's all over the place out there. Just getting her hands in a lot of passing lanes, block attempts.
And Kennedy Sanders draws an offensive foul. I think Baronic led with the elbow.
Out of frustration. was a hockey move. Yeah, much better job of fighting through those screens there. Great job.
Baranek with the steal. Couldn't clear Sanders. But Izzy Brandt gets a chance for three. Can't knock it down. Kennedy Sanders lost the dribble. Ari Gordon to the rim.
And it's so important that if your teammate has a fast break that you run with her. Create the spacing, run the lane, because things can happen. They can miss that layup, and you can be right there on the weak side to rebound and easily go back up for a bucket.
And that led to an easy bucket for Maple Grove.
Maple Grove's chipping away at this lead here.
VanEps, foul before the shot, but that should put Chaska at the line. If I counted the fouls correctly. Yes, Maple Grove now in the penalty. So I mentioned the activities and sports VanEps was involved in. LaToya, I know you played basketball. What else did you do in high school?
I ran track, and that's it.
What events did you run?
I ran the relay.
So you were a sprinter back in the day?
Yeah.
And that's the last foul to give for the Hawks.
But I was more of an indoor athlete. I wasn't a fan of playing outside.
I thought you might have been a gymnast too.
But when I went off to school in Kentucky, I quickly learned that you work out outdoors a lot.
Well, at least in Kentucky, the winters are less harsh. Lampert will shoot free throws. She has 3 points all at the line. Both teams on quick turnarounds. Chaska playing Jefferson last night. Tara Seifert telling me as the gym falls eerily silent.
As if we can hear what the refs are saying.
Number 14 for the Hawks. Second personal, 17 foul. Lampert steps to the line.
That always freaks me out. When it falls so quiet that you can hear what the refs are saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid the players are going to hear my voice.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what your greatest fear is on the basketball floor. For me, it's a silent gym.
You know, this crowd is rather quiet compared to, you know, some of the gyms we've been in. And you'll see here this team they're very patient on their offense.
Ari Gordon. Didn't have an opening on the baseline, so Maple Grove will reset. Two of Maple Grove's big names have been kept in check.
Yeah, Maple Grove, they just 1 second too late on their passes. Nice move. Nice work there.
And that will be the second foul on Sanders. And you know what? For Maple Grove, if those shots aren't going in, find a way to get to the line as they're doing, attack, drive.
Right.
And pick up some points that way.
And that was very smart of her to go at Sanders, pick up her second. You know, as a coach, you have to make the decision. She's a freshman. Do you keep her in the game? I feel like I want to whisper because it got so quiet.
It is so quiet.
Do you take that chance of leaving her in, or do you pull her? And, you know, she's really a driving force on offense out here. So, yeah, we'll see the substitution.
That doesn't surprise me. But Maple Grove settling for splits at the line as of late. Conversely, last night when I did Minnehaha Providence Academy, Mia Curtis got herself in quick foul trouble, but Matt Pryor keeps her in the game. Mm-hmm. But Mia being the senior, she's smart enough to know how to
go
avoid
hands
trouble.
off, yeah.
Right. And she is your top player, so you're going to keep her in there any chance you get.
And he has some other players that play defense very well. So
right, Talia Graham.
Yep.
And speaking of defense, Maple Grove with some fine defensive play.
Yeah, they've gotten in there and gotten some steals, stopping the transition from Chaska here.
Kylie Baranek with the cut.
Not today.
Nope. Jessica Hare, 6'6", with the rejection.
Hey, but hats off to Kylie. She's working.
Well, Baranek trying to get things going. Another block for Air.
That looks too easy.
It helps when you're 6'6". Well, and you would know this because you played in front of Kim Bell for a time at Washburn.
Yeah.
And Kim Bell was 6'8". Well, I guess still is.
Yeah.
So blocks came easily to her, I imagine. There's another block. This time by Schulte, and Chaska's bench players coming up big here. And they're going to shoot free throws.
And we're in the bonus now, yeah, so be free throws from here on out for the next 6 minutes. Speaking of Kim Bell, congratulations. She just had a set of twins, so congrats, Kim.
So with her genes, I would think those twins will grow up to be really, really big.
We'll see.
I guess we'll see which gene pool wins out.
And will we call their games?
In about 14 years. Ashley Schulte leads all players. She has 7 off the bench, 1 3-pointer, and 4 free throws, if I can get that out of my mouth.
And I think for both of these teams, at any point, anyone can score. There's really not anyone on the floor who doesn't have an offensive mindset.
High low to Gordon. They swing it back out. Trying to get that open 3 ball, but Chaska stayed with them. Now
and there's Kylie.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Kylie's going to make them respect her tonight.
Lucy Dardis hit with a foul. Chaska having to go deep into their bench. And Maple Grove, I've said this once before, free throws not the sexiest way to score, but they're staying in the game by getting to the line.
Free throws are awesome. It gives your team a chance to regroup. You can switch up your offense or your defense from the line. Gives you just a quick little breather. Call it easy money.
If you can make those free throws, Providence struggled in that aspect last night, and that allowed Minnehaha to hang on for the win in that IMAC rivalry, one of the top conference rivalries. This was quite the week. Usually I avoid conference games because they're not always compelling, but this year, big exception. Crimson in transition. Nothing doing. If Maple Grove can finish a few more baskets, a few more plays, they could get some rhythm on their side. They struggled like this with St. Michael Albertville and more recently with Anoka, just unable to find the basket.
And with Sanders on the bench, we're really going to need someone from this Chaska team to step up and control the offense here. They're doing a good job of keeping the ball in rotation.
No Sanders, no Mallory Hire. They're all riding the bench right now. And another foul. This will be the first on Hendrickson. And that should be double bonus time for Maple Grove, yes.
Number 4 for the Hawks. Her first 10th team foul now on Chaska, and Gordon will be at the line.
Ari Gordon's at the line right now. She's only a sophomore, so it'd be interesting to see how she develops over the next couple of years. It is so quiet when there's a free throw.
She has a rainbow stroke, and I mean rainbow. She came on the scene strong last year, primarily a JV player, made the move to full-time varsity. Mark Cook says her athleticism is off the charts. And she has the highest stroke I've ever seen.
Yes, I agree.
Also involved in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and she apparently gets a kick out of conspiracy videos and plots. I'm not sure exactly what
I'm going to tell
she's
you.
referencing by that, but
Jesus is with her at that free throw line.
I've never seen a stroke that goes that high.
I know.
I guess it makes it hard to get blocked if you're aiming for the sky every time. Maple Grove ball, and it's a 2-point game. And again, they're doing this at the line, 11 of 16.
Mm-hmm.
They have made a total of 3 field goals.
And we're back at the
More
free
free
throw
throws.
line.
Izzy
Strategy's
Brandt.
working.
Well, Albie brought a few stories to tell us, LaToya, because we might be here for a little while. Well, you're speaking of free throws.
Izzy Brandt is at the line.
I was told that's how Trinity got their 3 points last night.
Yes.
Maybe the biggest runaway win you've ever seen.
Oh, my. It reminded me of our St. Paul Conference days.
68-3 was the final.
And I think every single MCA player scored last night.
But Maranatha, they played a tough schedule, and again, Jim Hammond wasn't aware of what was going to happen, but they play a lot of tough teams early. You got Providence twice, Minnehaha already, so a lot of good teams to
get some
up
practice
the ranks.
runs in, yeah.
I know in the skyline. Don't underestimate Concordia.
I know.
Their
that's
record
just
does
what I was
not
gonna say.
indicate how close they. Well, if you look at their scores and their game logs, they could easily be a 500 or plus 500 team with how close they've
Their
been in
games
just
were,
about
yeah.
every game. 3 on the way. Well, we're tied at 20. I'll tell you what, Maple Grove, they're hitting free throws, and Chaska unable to respond on the other end, again with Heyer and Sanders in early foul trouble. That puts Chaska in a bind.
Yeah, and Sanders definitely sets the tone on the floor for the Chaska team, and you can see, the difference when she's not in the game.
Jessica Ayer, 2.1 points per game. She has a couple of blocks to her credit. And you're right, Sanders making a big difference, and you can see that when she's not on the floor as far as the fluidity of their offense. 10 years ago, that might have surprised me to see 6'6" posts knock down free throws, but in the stretch 4 era,
now.
in the stretch 4 era, pace and space, 3-point shooting, that's the way the game goes.
It's mandatory.
And I jinxed her. But she does give Chaska the lead, 21-20. That was a tough play by Lampert. Double teamed, I think, on that drive. Step back jumper does not drop for Kelsey Willems. Scramble for the ball is won by Brandt.
Great patience there. Way to gather yourself.
Abby Schulte with the runner.
And when you know you're getting calls and you know you have a player that you can take off the bounce, you just go for it, and that's what she's doing right now.
A chance for Maple Grove to make a statement.
Smart decision.
Schulte got the steal, and it looks like the Crimson are in position to make a charge. It was a slow and steady climb out of a early deficit. Schulte, yep, that was a walk. Again, the right idea, just a little too early. And Heyer and VanEps are going back in. Tara Seifert going to try to get Chaska back in rhythm.
And with the Maple Grove team, when they'd catch the ball, you're just waiting to see which one's going to drive in the lane, who can see that opening. Oh, Chaska's got to see her. She's open. She's been open a lot underneath there.
And Luku comes in there for the block. Izzy Brandt at the last second.
Great help side defense, but She was working that middle, and she was open a lot.
Schulte drives and scores again. Schulte not afraid of contact. Spin move, and Kaylee VanEps puts her defender on the spin cycle. Extra rinse. And I'll tell you what, that's a bucket Chaska needed.
Oh, yeah. Especially as a coach, you don't want to burn a timeout this late in the half. Regroup your team. So that bucket was really needed.
Otherwise, Maple Grove was in position to go on a big rally. And they still could. High-low play. And Jordan Lampert converts. Maple Grove's now starting to finish on those plays. And as we said earlier, if they can find the basket, that could turn the tide. And it has so far.
In the era of our three-point shooters, it's really nice to see a post player use post moves. Ask for the lob, release. We've seen a couple step-throughs.
Well, analytics plays such a big part in basketball now. The layup is the highest percentage shot. Foul on the floor, but both teams in the double bonus, so free throws anyway for Kendall Carmen.
That's a lot of fouls to be in the double bonus.
Well, it goes back to, as you said, these teams like to attack. You see more teams with those spot-up three-point shooters. Here you've got Schulte, higher, not afraid to go after the lane. A lot of players who want to drive and outwork you to the rim.
Right.
Carmen missing both. Missed opportunity for the Hawks.
That's one thing you definitely want to be able to do is convert on those free throws, which is one of the easiest skills to teach.
Tough drive for Baronic. Nothing doing there. Chaska.
About 8 seconds left. Let's see if they can set something up for a last shot here.
They can hold for that last shot. What a nifty reverse. Well, you said, let's see if they can set something up, and they set up a little piece of trickery. Kelsey Willems with an acrobatic way to end the first half. Maple Grove with a 28-25 lead, but after Chaska struggled from the floor, getting a couple of buckets to go their way, I think will help them keep some momentum going into the second half.
Yeah.
So what a first half it was, 28-25.
It was anyone's game at any time. I think once Sanders gets back on the floor, we'll see the pace of the game pick up a little bit. But Kaylee took advantage of the fact that she wasn't on the floor, and she just took over, her and Joe. So it was great to see them go on that run there on their home floor.
We'll pause and return for the second half. This is high school girls basketball. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James. Tough shot! It goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. Mike Peden and LaToya Turk back with you at Maple Grove High School, not to be confused with Angel Grove. The Crimson lead the Hawks 28-25. Maple Grove worked their way back from a deficit, mostly at the free throw line, and then they got a few baskets to end the first half. Jordan Lampert with 8 points, Izzy Brandt with 7. Your notables for the Crimson. For Chaska, Ashley Schulte and Kelsey Willems have 7 each. But the story of the game was the physicality. A lot of fouls, a lot of trips to the free throw line, and with both teams in a shooting run for most of the first half, that was crucial for Maple Grove, and that's why they lead by 3.
Right, they were able to get to that free throw line and capitalize and put some points up on the board. But we saw Chaska flex their range. They played zone. They played man-to-man defense. They're doing an excellent job with their picks. And then we saw Maple Grove just put the ball on the floor and get into the lane. Maple Grove did a pretty good job of controlling the rebounds as well.
Second half about to start. Sanders with the bounce pass to Higher. 14-footer does not drop. And let's see if Chaska's offense can get back on track. They didn't have Sanders or Higher for much of the first half due to early foul trouble.
But, you know, with Sanders on the floor, you can really tell she understands the offense. She knows exactly where the players are, which sets up her teammates for easy buckets.
In fact, 4 or 5 Chaska's starters picked up 2 fouls in the first half. Lampert can't get the roll. Loose ball. Won by Schulte. Lampert for 3. No good.
Very physical game.
And that's a foul on Higher. So Chaska's top player picks up her 3rd, and we still have 16:52 to play.
I was wondering when they were going to call that. Each time the Maple Grove team would cut, you could see Chaska making contact with them. So
that will stay Maple Grove ball. Something I noticed as well for the Crimson, they have to go up a flight of stairs to get to the locker room.
it's like a workout.
And that is the second personal on Carmen. Free throws coming for Kaylee Baranek.
So foul is on Kendall Carmen, number 33 for Chaska. Second personal, second team foul. For Maple Grove, Kaylee Baranek is at the line.
Baranek knocks down the front end. Also plays soccer. Her teammates gave her the nickname Kyle. And Mark Cook considered Baranek the most important figure of last year's section championship team. Maple Grove 15 of 20 now at the free throw line.
So I was going to say, how many times has Kylie been to the line tonight?
Sanders drives and floats it in. That's her first field goal. Again, didn't play a lot due to foul trouble.
She's a floor facilitator, though. Having her on the floor is a big help.
And if she gets going, look out. She played a big role in Chaska's season opening win over Simbly back in November. That was Sophia Corman squeezing through the hole. Kennedy Sanders driving. Chaska swings it around. Willems, no good. Gets the save. Now VanEps draws the foul on Schulte. That is the 3rd on Abby. So both Higher and Schulte, the 2 top scorers for their respective teams, they have 3 fouls, so both are going to have to be careful here. That was a tough layup.
Yeah.
I don't know how Carmen got it in.
This is probably one of the most physical games I've seen in a while.
Higher able to get a tip on that pass. VanEps on the run. Finds Higher. And she had nowhere to go. Lampert stayed with her. Well, both coaches told me they expected this would be a tough test. And we've been getting that in this one.
And both teams are pretty evenly matched. I think it's going to come down to his discipline. He's able to sit down, run their sets, and execute. Control the boards, stay out of foul trouble.
Corman hit with an illegal screen call. She picks up her third personal foul, and the way the refs have called this game, a little tighter than most crews I've seen. Both teams are going to have to be mindful of that.
Unless you're underneath the basket.
Right.
If you're underneath the basket, it's free game.
And Carmen picks up an offensive foul on the holding call.
So how many players on that Chaska team do we have in foul trouble right now?
Heyer and Carmen both have 3. Schulte and Corman have 3 for the Crimson. This could be a battle of attrition. But like you said, underneath, they're letting them play things out. Outside of it, they're calling a lot of contact.
Yeah. I mean, underneath, there's so much off-the-ball contact as well.
Sanders didn't see an opening. Will back off.
Sanders does a great job of controlling the flow of the game. You know, she knows when to bring it back out.
When you saw the
I'm
difference,
impressed.
You saw the difference in fluidity when she had to ride the bench.
Yeah.
Kendall Carmen with the first three-pointer. And a delay of game call on Carmen. As you know, you cannot touch the ball after you score.
Right.
Inadvertent or not. So Carmen, she'll sub out for now, take a breather. First delay of game is a warning. The second one is a bench technical, if you're wondering how that plays out. That rarely comes up, but it does happen.
Yeah. And it worked so well having her on the bench during that first half. For Maple Grove, I would do some ISO and see if I could help get her third foul. And you know, because Kaylee's doing a great job of going to the basket.
Another offensive foul. We've had 3 offensive fouls, I think, this half.
Yeah, the girls just need to play basketball. The extra pushing and bumping, just play basketball.
These two are getting after it.
Yeah, as you can see on the inside, they're allowing so much. Okay, did he finally call it? Yeah. I was just about to say they're allowing so much.
Like you said, you know, when you down low, they've been allowing a lot of contact, but not that time. We mentioned how free throws were crucial in the first half. The way we're going, this game is likely going to come down to who can make free throws. Nice dish from Sanders to Kelsey Willems.
It started with a nice pick. Get her open.
Sanders tried to get the poke. Another bump. They let that one go, and Schulte scores. Like you said, though, try to avoid contact. You don't want to be pushing and shoving each other, especially the way they've called this game.
Right.
Heyer, the turnaround. Oh, that did everything but go
Rolls in and out.
3 ball. Corner pocket. Izzy Brandt with her second triple. And she's our first player to break double figures. Well, these two teams don't light up the scoreboard the way others do. Maple Grove averaging 57 a game, Chaska 66. But Maple Grove, a sound defensive team, and Chaska, they're hanging in there. Kaylee VanEps to the line. And Abby Schulte picked up her 4th foul. So she's going to have to go to the bench for a while. But here comes Ari Gordon. She had a couple of nice plays.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In the first half. But again, going back to all the foul trouble we've seen and the way they've called this game, I'm not saying the officials are doing a terrible job. No, it's just every crew has their tendencies, and the way they're calling this game, it's going to test your depth, and it also, I think, tests your discipline because, as you said,
you have to adapt.
Right.
And that's one thing I teach my kids, that you have to adapt to what the refs are calling and how they're calling the game.
Heyer can't hook up with VanEps, and she almost ran into the door. It's a good thing there's some space at this gym.
Yeah, this.
More so than most. At Maranatha, well, if that had been Demaya, she probably would have ran right through the wall, gone full Hulk
At
on
the
them.
concession stand.
High-low play to Lampert. Got it.
Basic.
Ken scores.
Then you got to
there.
get back.
Chaska in transition.
Yeah.
It's Ashley Schulte. Like you said, you got to get back, and oftentimes the best time to attack is right after a basket because the other team, the team that scored, usually takes a moment or two to collect themselves.
Great help side defense there in the lane.
Cross-court pass. Gordon picks it up. Well, I know why that didn't go in.
Yeah. And here we go, transition offense again.
This time it's Mallory Heyer
Running
with the
the lane.
finish. Timeout, Maple Grove. Mallory Heyer starting to find a little rhythm, and Chaska now pushing the floor. We haven't seen a transition attack until now, and Chaska sustaining it exceptionally well.
And that's a good technique to have. Is if you can get the ball up the floor, if you can push it, transition offense, and score easy without having to set up your offense, that's great. And if you don't have it, pull it back out and run your set. But we see quite a few teams doing that. Holy Angels will push the ball. Como will push the ball. If they have those openings, they're gonna go for them.
Mallory Heyer, who scored the last bucket, 12 points or more in every game this season, and we really haven't had a chance to talk about the offensive brilliance of Chaska or Maple Grove because of all the fouls and free throws. Kennedy Sanders, 10 points or more in every game except Shakopee when she failed to score. Kaylee VanEps had 22 against Lakeville North. Looking ahead, the Crimson will play Northwest Suburban teams the rest of the way, but as we said, a lot of top competition. They play Park Center February 18th. They play Centennial on the road to end the regular season, so that is one heck of a way.
Yeah.
And Blaine, they get Blaine on Tuesday, and the Bengals knocked off Elk River, so they're going to...
They're on a high right now, yeah.
For the first of two meetings, as they're both in the same division. But that Blaine series is now one to watch. Blaine, they had a lot of wins, and they were surprised, but they're one of those teams where you thought, all right, let's see what they do against a contender, and then they beat Elk River.
Yeah,
Blaine
two of my
for real.
girlfriends played for Blaine in the 90s. Teresa Smith and Amelia Becker.
And Chaska with a chance to extend the lead.
There they go
Heyer
again.
recovers, but not enough. Not quite in time. That lead pass a little too strong. Gordon, baseline. And give credit to Kendall Carmen, got Gordon to go reverse.
Yeah.
And I think Chaska is really starting to pick up their intensity here in the second half. Attacking in transition, being a little more active on defense. But Maple Grove, they're no slouch.
I was just going to comment on their help side defense. They're
You don't need to.
Yeah, defensively they're in a good. Their positioning looks really good.
You don't need to bring it up. Kelsey Willems will do the talking for you. That puts her up to 11.
I mean, you can see the girls when they're one pass away, they're in deny positioning.
And there's Willems again. Oh. As a player, you hate when that happens.
Yeah.
It's harder than it looks, though, when you're running in transition.
Oh, yeah. But once you get it down, and these girls look like they really enjoy playing with each other.
Well, Maple Grove has a lot of history. A little bit of a push-off. We play on. And unable to hit the baseline J was Corman. Break for the Hawks. Heyer. Couldn't get around Lampert that time. We're really starting to see a battle now between Heyer and Lampert, as both have had some chances to play. Foul before the shot. That will go on Sanders, her third.
And it seems like every time she puts the ball on that floor, when she goes up, or they're watching the call for the hold.
I see a lot of purple with the crowd that's here, as some of the Crimson fans have traded the maroon and gold, or the crimson and gold, for purple, and Chaska purple is their color set. 3 on the way. Willems can't knock it down. Offensive rebound going to Schulte. Ashley has played a nice game. Chaska with a 3-point lead. Higher for 3. That would have been big for the Hawks.
That was a nice set that they ran too. Very, very patient offensively.
Abby Schulte returns.
Those are tough.
Dead ball rebound to
They
Chaska.
Rim out.
That's been the story of this game.
Mm-hmm.
But still a long way to go. 8:23 and counting. Higher. The kick out. VanEps through traffic. Nowhere to go. Abby Schulte back out on the floor. Again, has to be careful with the 4 fouls. Both teams have been in the top 10 most of the season. And a lot of big wins on the resume.
Without having a shot clock here in Minnesota, they're able to reset their offense, run it over again. You know, that first set wasn't working. Way to use your body for that foul. Great job.
And free throws coming for Abby Schulte. Maple Grove started the year with a loss to Eden Prairie at the Tip-Off Classic. Beat Minnetonka. Beat Elk River. And they beat Andover, so those are some of the key wins. Some of the key wins for the Crimson. They lost to St. Michael Albertville, struggled from the floor, and Mark Cook told me STMA, not a team you can have a bad day against.
Right.
But if those two meet again in sections, who knows? Maple Grove, they play well enough. Kennedy Sanders drives, no good. I heard someone say grab it. Well, Kennedy couldn't quite do that because she was out of bounds.
Yeah.
Right idea, but Kennedy, she needed the NBA court. She needed the 10 extra feet.
It's one of those things where when you make your move and you end up out of bounds, get back in bounds right away, because sometimes your own shot, you can get your hands on it.
Higher denies Abby Schulte. Chaska on the run. Free throws coming for Kendall Carmen. Well, what you described comes to mind. Minnetonka St. Louis Park, Desiree Ware did just that. Missed her first shot, went back in bounds, got it.
Yeah.
It's not like football where if you go out of bounds, you can't be the first one to touch it.
Yeah, and it's
She
like,
got her own miss and went baseline.
it's like, don't stand outside and watch. I need you to come in and help do something. But the fans here are a little making some noise about those last 2 possessions.
Well, you don't need to tell Desiree Ware to do something.
Yeah, I had the privilege of watching her play this summer as I coached tandem with her dad for UVA.
I got to meet her father, electronically at least. When you cover high school games and you interview all these athletes, their parents start looking for you.
Rob, Rob Ware.
Well, Minnetonka building on that young core, much like Chaska. And speaking of youth, keep your eyes out on Emma Dasovich, the eldest of the Dasovich siblings. She's starting as an 8th grader.
There it is.
And that will be a foul on Carmen, her 4th.
Yeah.
And Maple Grove, this is how they've stayed in the game. As I said before, free throw's not the sexiest way to score, and so not everyone puts enough emphasis on it, but Maple Grove, their offense has, their central part of their offense has been free throws.
But you know, what are they from the line, Mike?
17 of 23.
What did you say?
17 of 23.
Oh, okay.
So they're shooting around the 70s, mid-70s. Lampert will settle for a split. Now 18 of 24. And it's a 2-point game. Sanders on the give and go.
Now it's a
That's the Kennedy Sanders I'm used to seeing.
4-point game.
Kennedy, one of the most humble figures on the Chaska team. Never wants to make it about herself.
Nice stutter step in the lane there.
I think Higher read it, though, and she draws the foul on Ari Gordon, and she'll shoot free throws.
I have to reserve my comment. Oh, we've seen a lot worse.
I've seen some calls that I might not have agreed with, too. Not just this game, but elsewhere. But I'm up here. I'm not down there.
That's what we're going to go
I'll let
with.
them. I'll leave the officiating to the pros. I would not last a minute. 1-on-1 situation. Higher missing the front end. Looking ahead for Chaska. We'll get to that in a moment. But an opportunity for the Crimson here. They trail by 4. You would like to see them score in this possession. Because the way these two teams play, there may not be a ton of opportunities.
Yeah.
Tough shot. But getting her own miss was Jordan Lampert. That puts her up to 13.
And now it's just going to come down to who wants it. See, I'm going to reserve my comment.
Yeah, that one's a tough one.
Yep.
From up here, I didn't see what happened down there, but that is a tough way to pick up your 4th.
I'm going to say 3 of her 4 foul calls have been questionable.
Right, or another crew might have let it go. But again, every crew is different. That doesn't make them good or bad. It's just, as you said, you have to respond to the tendencies of each crew.
Yeah.
So Schulte with 4, Gordon with 4, and Higher. A split there. Mallory struggling at the line.
And with this game and the way it's been played, these girls have got to knock down their free throws. Got space.
Schulte blocked by VanEps, but can't retrieve it in time. And a traveling call on Gordon.
Yeah, having a nice little jump shot in her pocket would have been nice there. A little head fake and go around and pull it.
I was going to say a jump shot. She has the highest arcing shot I've ever seen. I mean,
You can put it off the backboard.
here's VanEps. Now Gordon has 4 fouls. That's a carrying call. I haven't had a chance to point this out. You may not be able to see it on our cameras, but Maple Grove, one of 2 gyms that I know of that has a full service video screen instead of your standard scoreboard. School Space Media has built a few of them around the state. Free throws coming for Abby Schulte. That will go against Schulte. But Maple Grove and Osseo both have video boards for indoor events. Hill Murray has one for football.
That's her second personal. It's the 7th team foul. Abby Schulte is at the line.
This gym has a lot of nice amenities, besides the fact that the girls have to go up the stairs to get to their locker room. But
I'm sure they're used to it here in the Grove.
they have plenty of baskets and hoops. So
They have 2 gyms as well. They have a smaller gym for lower level games. High-low, Sanders finds higher, and Mallory pulls off the hesitation move.
And even though this Chaska team is small in size, they're big in the middle.
With Higher and Hare coming off the bench, they do have some size. And Mallory Higher plays like a guard. Baronic slipped up. Kennedy Sanders, the kick out. This could be a dagger 3, and it goes in. Sanders with the dime, Schulte with the bucket, and that's the second time in a row Kennedy Sanders has found her target. And that could be the bucket that pushes Chaska to a win.
She knows she took that ball down in the paint, and I don't think she had the intention of shooting. She knew she was waiting for her trailer. Just kicked it back out.
Chaska looking for their 10th win of the season. Maple Grove at 10-3, Chaska 9-3. But Schulte fouls Abby Schulte, and that's key because Maple Grove can put some more points on the board with the clock frozen.
And that's going to be key for Chaska as well. Is don't give them, if you want to win this game, you can't give them the opportunities at the line. So you need to clean your defense up a little bit, hands off.
And with both teams in the bonus, I would think that benefits Maple Grove. They are now 22 of 28. Nearly half their points have come at the line.
Yeah.
Sanders tried to thread it inside to Higher again. This time Maple Grove was prepared.
Oh, I know a player that would have crossed that.
Are you thinking Mia Curtis or Paige Beckers?
Any of the above.
Desiree Ware, maybe?
See your defensive assignment stumbling.
Less than 3 minutes to play. 4-point game. That's the 4th foul on Sanders.
And we're
That
back at
one
the
I
free throw line.
concur with. Sanders got tangled up with Schulte there.
And Schulte assisted the refs with that call.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, some calls you and I would have let go if we were doing it, but that one was pretty clear. Ari Gordon will go out. Sophia Corman will go in. Kennedy Sanders getting a word with Tara Seifert. And Sanders, a freshman, has a lot of time to grow.
Yeah.
Her second year on varsity.
She did a great job of playing with those 3 fouls all the way up to 2:51 in the game. So,
another split. Jump ball, Maple Grove with the arrow. The Crimson will not go away. This is very much like, well, every game this week. It's been neck and neck. De La Salle Holy Angels went down to the last minute. Providence Minnehaha went down to the last minute. This game is shaping up to come down to that last minute. Schulte sees a lane. Well, at least she'll shoot 2. And you saw the fans in attendance.
yeah.
They were ready to jump out in celebration. But that is the 5th on Carmen. So Kendall will finish with 9 points.
And she's been a huge factor in the paint defensively. So that's going to leave a little bit of a gap defending that paint underneath.
Well, and this is where all the fouling from the first half comes into play here. But Schulte struggling a little bit at the line. Double bonus the rest of the way. For the Crimson, Schulte does get the back end. 30-second timeout.
And so now it's time,
52-50.
2:50 left on the clock. You know who's out of the game and who has 4 fouls. Do you plan a strategy to attack those players to get them all the way out of the game? Or do you just sit down and run your offense? Only down by 2 points. No need to rush. No need to feel pressured. But you definitely don't want to keep sending each other to the free throw line.
Right, now Chaska still in the 1-and-1 range. Maple Grove with 8 fouls, Chaska at 10. Maple Grove with 2 timeouts left, Chaska with 4. And the Hawks hold the possession arrow.
Great
Chaska,
place to be in for both teams.
Right, well, Chaska, we're at that point of the game. You don't want to play keep away with 2:40 left. That's a lot of time, and as we've seen, when you run those lengthy sets beyond 30, 35 seconds, that can cause trouble because even though we don't have a shot clock, most teams don't run sets or plays that long.
Right.
But you'll want a good quality shot if you're Chaska.
And then it's just amazing that Chaska still has 4 timeouts left. And as close as this game has been and as young as their team is, that's amazing.
Chaska eating up clock here. They may try to get Maple Grove. Do a mistake. Trying to protect the interior. Wide open 3 for Schulte. You know what? I'm okay with that play. Even though it didn't work out for Schulte, you burned 40 seconds off the clock. Schulte was open, just didn't go in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a set you're okay with. But it does give the Crimson a chance to tie or take the lead.
And
oh, that was dangerous.
gutsy.
3 on the way. Bullseye! Jordan Lampert turns a nearly broken play into a triple. Mallory higher. Can't get the bounce. And a foul was called. Wow.
I shrug.
The twists and turns of this game,
I shrug.
I don't know what to make of it. I didn't see the play, but what a wild sequence there. And a chance for Mallory Higher to tie or take the lead at the line. This is still 1-1. Well, if you're a Maple Grove fan, you're like, that's not a foul, but you know what?
If you're a Chaska fan,
Hey.
you're like, yeah.
Hey, no matter the sport, sometimes it's about what breaks go your way. And now we're tied. 53-53. Hold on to your butts. This should be an exciting 1 minute and change.
And in the last 2 possessions, we've seen Chaska change their defensive strategy. You know, the possession prior, they were in a zone. Now they're playing man, which in this type of situation, it makes it very difficult for the offensive team. You know, when they're coming down, they have one mindset. Okay, they were in a zone. We're going to run our zone offense. And then you come down, and now they're playing man, and you got to switch. And sometimes that frazzles players and gets them out of their routine. But hats off to that young team being able to switch up those defenses like that.
1 minute to go, and we'd like to thank CCX Media for syndicating this game. So if you're watching this on cable TV in the northwest suburbs, we thank you for spending part of your afternoon with us. All right, LaToya, you've got the ball, a minute left. Do you hold for the final shot? Do you try to get Chaska to commit a foul? What is your plan of attack?
Well, my plan of attack would be to definitely take care of the ball. I'm not going to try to burn a lot of time off the clock. I want you to run your set, use your ball fakes, and if you can attack the basket because the ref's calling now. They're giving you those fouls on the drives to the basket, and get to the free throw line and knock down your free throws. But your first mission is to score.
Maple Grove, 24 of 32. They're shooting 75%. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to run down the clock, maybe with about 10 seconds left, give themselves a couple of chances for that game-winning play.
Yeah.
But who knows? Now the Crimson only have 1 timeout left, so if they run into trouble, they still have 1 they can use. Chaska still has 4, so
and if
the
Chaska
Hawks
gets this ball, you better get back on your transition defense because they're going for it.
a big win, a boosting type of win on the resume. A resume building one on the line. 48 seconds. And Maple Grove, you heard Mark Cook saying slow down. Crimson, they're not going to force it. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if they run the clock all the way down and save it for one or maybe two chances.
$20
18 seconds. When does Maple Grove make the move?
I would say now.
10 seconds.
Oh, strategy.
I'm not sure. You know,
I don't know, Mike. I would have let her go to the rack.
well, I'm saying, well, who knows if she would have had a lane, but I'm thinking you might want that timeout in case something doesn't work
Yeah.
out. Now, if you have trouble inbounding the ball, Maple Grove out of timeout.
Yeah.
So that's going to make the inbound play crucial. But again, I'm not surprised. I thought Maple Grove would do that, run the clock all the way down, and hold it for one last shot, maybe two. But with this timeout, 9.4, you're either going to save it for one play or maybe try to get a quick bucket.
And that's a huge responsibility for your team now to try to inbound that ball. If I was Chaska, I'd take the pressure off of the ball and have that person turn and help to potentially try to get a 5-second call or a turnover there. But that's a lot of pressure for them to get that ball and run whatever offensive assignment that you've given them in 9.4 seconds. But it is doable.
Some of the Maple Grove boys players are strumming along to our throwback selection. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Now, do you go to Lampert? Do you go to Schulte? Who do you want taking that last shot?
Oh, I'm going to say Schulte. Who would you go?
Lampert hit that big three, though. We'll see. Will it be one of those two, or will someone else step up? 6 seconds. 5, 4. Who's it going to be? They got to get it off. Chaska did a great job defensively, did not allow anything down low. And Chaska, that was...
And did not foul.
Right. That was a good, solid minute of defense by Chaska. Again, I don't know if I'd use the timeout, but it's easy to make those suggestions when you're up here. It's a little harder when you have to make those split-second calls. So, we get an extra 4 minutes.
I know. Have we ever called an overtime game?
This is our first this season.
Yeah.
I think we did Hopkins North boys a couple years ago that went to double overtime.
Right.
Well, Demai, I hope you don't mind. An extra 4 minutes. You don't mind. All right. Now, as you know, each team gets an additional timeout. Fouls carry overs. Although it doesn't really matter at this point. Both teams will be in the double bonus. Maple Grove is 9, so the next one would put Chaska in the double bonus. But this is where the foul situation really comes into play.
Right.
And to recap that scenario, Kendall Carmen, she's out. Kennedy Sanders with 4. For Maple Grove, Abby Schulte with 4. And Sophia Corman has 4. So overtime, well, if you're a Vikings fan, this is not what you want either, because you got to wait a little bit longer. But I'm not surprised. All the games I've covered this week could have easily gone to overtime. So that was a well-executed possession by Chaska to force overtime.
It's probably some of the better defense that we've seen them play up without fouling.
And with the way this game has been called, it's a little bit of a surprise. VanEps tried to find higher. Instead, Schulte fires the 3 off the heel. Now, what does Maple Grove do here? As you noted before, no shot clock, so they could run it all the way down if they wanted. Overtime in the Grove. A big win on the line between two teams who we could see at state. 3 comes up short for Izzy Brandt. I don't know about you, but I'm getting more nervous with each possession.
I know. I can barely talk. I'm like, I'm so engulfed. Like,
with a tie score and everything at stake in this one, every possession is a big one.
yeah, and both teams are playing so well.
I got to give credit. Both teams, they are playing their hearts out. They knew this would be a dogfight.
Right.
Higher. Maple Grove not letting her inside one bit. Kennedy Sanders for 3. Rebound
Good
goes to
Hire
Hire, and she
Nice
gets
work.
the reverse to fall.
Nice work. We'll take those points too.
At this point, you'll take them any way
Yeah.
you can get. Forget about style points. Just get the ball in the hoop. Oh, Mallory Hire showed some style there with that O-board in the putback. I felt Chaska, that was her strength in the first half. Bounce pass. That didn't work out. 3 on the way. Short. Rebound is tipped. VanEps picks it up. Now. Does Maple Grove foul here? Oh, how did Mallory Hire break her way free? Hire broke her coverage. Mallory Hire stepping up here in the extra session.
Yeah, you don't give Maple Grove a chance to defensively set up. Getting that quick set, and she was able to release and get right to the basket. So help side defense wasn't there.
That was a big basket with 1:48 to go. That being said, we know Maple Grove can get the way to the line. They've made 32 attempts from there. Do they drive, knowing that Chaska has a lot of players in foul trouble, trying to get to the line, score while the clock is stopped?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because we know that formula has been working and we're in the double bonus. No, if we're not going to make our free throws, because it's an automatic 2 free throws, and so we can recoup not getting a field goal by making your 2 free throws, but we can't split them and we can't miss both of them. You got to knock those free throws down.
Looking ahead for Chaska, some big non-conference games include Hutchinson on January 20th, Martin Luther King Day. Hutchinson picked up a big win over Becker a few weeks ago. The Hawks will also play Buffalo. And then St. Michael Albertville, February 1st at the Community Clash. Circle that one. That will be another big test.
Yeah.
Tara Seifert really excited, pleased with the schedule she put together this year. She liked the quality tests. Wayzata Shakopee, Minnetonka. .133 to go. 3 on the way. Bullseye!
They needed that. Way to be patient. Here we go again. Not allowing the defense to set up.
And a steal. This is Schulte. She's going to take it all the way. No good.
Way to
Rebound,
fight for that.
Veronic. 1-point game. They swing it around. Veronic for 3.
So now, Maple Grove, you got to sit down and play some defense.
But Chaska with a 1-point lead. They can make Maple Grove play foul and chase if they want. Hire's been a little shaky at the line. Let's see what Maple Grove decides to do here as they try to get the 5 count. It's Sanders to Hire again.
If it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
Mallory Hire, right. In this overtime session, the 3rd time she set up on the right side of the lane, and all 3 times it's resulted in a layup.
Right. She's done, like I said, during warm-ups, that's exactly what they were practicing. That lob, some step throughs and up and unders, and they're using all of those techniques right up underneath the basket. Like I said, they might not be very tall in stature, but they definitely have great inside moves and footwork.
Now, Chaska did call a timeout. We have 40.4 on the clock. 59-56 is the score. 1 possession game. So a 3 will tie it. And you've got a couple of sharpshooters in Izzy Brandt and Jordan Lampert. Brandt has 3 triples. Lampert has a pair. So Maple Grove not out of this.
Right. And the Chaska guards or whoever's making that entry pass, they're doing a great job of putting it right in her hand. She's doing a great job of releasing right at the right time. So that's a move that you practice. You do repetition and you get that footwork down.
But how about Mallory Hire? Struggled all game, picked it up here in the overtime session. She and Kaylee VanEps hit 1,000 points together at the Classic, at the Park Center Holiday Invite. Maple Grove, 23 seconds. They look for the 3. Got it!
Yes.
Abby Schulte
They got to play some good defense.
Chaska, they're going to call a timeout. 12.8. They had 3 available. Wow. The twists and turns of this game.
Wow.
I don't believe it.
Wow. In a couple of senses, wow.
Well, we were saying at the start of the broadcast, the Northwest Suburban has really stepped up their game when you look at the number of quality teams this year. And Chaska, they're building on that great run a year ago to the section final. These are 2 teams we could see in state, and they are playing their hearts out.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely leaving it all on the floor. They both teams play very well together as units, and they're scrappy and they're gutsy. They're going after everything.
12.8 now. Chaska, they have 2 timeouts left, so if they get in a jam on the inbound, they have a lifeline.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time left. Do you go inside to higher? Do you try to run that same play on the right side?
Yeah, I absolutely would. And the same concept, I would take my inbound defensive player off the ball and have them help deny.
Well, LaToya, we're getting quite the introduction here to both the Northwest Suburban and Metro West. I think we found ourselves a couple new teams to cheer for. Then again, you and I cheer for everybody. Oh, VanEps, that's an offensive foul. A big defensive, gutsy play by Abby Schulte. And now Maple Grove with another chance to win it, 9.5. And they'll use their timeout.
And that offensive foul came after travel. So when you watch that replay, there was a travel that happened prior.
But Schulte set herself up outside the restricted zone. Players have had a couple of seasons now to adapt to that. Great play by Schulte and a fitting song choice because I think Schulte feel pretty happy about that stop. But it's not over yet. They still got to get the go-ahead bucket with 9.5 seconds on the clock. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, LaToya, again, no timeout. So if Maple Grove has trouble inbounding it, they could be in trouble. But
that's why you take your defender off of the ball so that she can't bounce it off of her foot. So then they have no bailout.
That's good to point out. 9.5 to go. Demaya, I don't know. You look a little, I don't know. You look pensive over there. I thought you'd be jumping out of your seat. She is. What a game. This has been 9.5 seconds. All right. Who do you give the ball to? We saw Chaska play some stingy defense in regulation. Do you go to Schulte, Lampert, Brandt?
I don't know.
Big 3? What do you say? Schulte, you said? All right, Demaya says give it to Schulte. She has it here. 5 seconds. Schulte, the kick out. Oh, my goodness! That's it!
Yikes.
Did Chaska get the timeout? I don't think so. That was Becca White. Becca White with the game winner, potentially. Where did she come from? She hasn't played all game. We were saying Schulte. Well, Schulte had someone else in mind.
Oh, yeah, because they knew they weren't going to be covering her. Left her wide open.
Maybe that's why Mark Cook put her in.
Yeah, left her wide open.
Becca White. That's it. That's ball game. Becca White had 4 points all season. And she comes up with the biggest play of her career, the sophomore. I don't believe it. You were right, though. No one saw that coming.
Yeah.
Maple Grove with a little trick play at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
What a game. Hats off to both teams.
Absolutely.
This is like De La Salle Holy Angels. Well, every game this week, both teams gave themselves a chance to win it. That's all you ask for. Chaska has nothing to hang their heads about. Maple Grove, I don't believe it.
Right. Excellent job, ladies. Great job.
Well, Becca White, I hope you don't mind becoming a celebrity because you're about to become a big name on this campus. 62-59 the final. We'll come back and get a word with a couple of Maple Grove players. I don't believe it. This is high school girls basketball. What a win by the Crimson. And I'm here with the two heroes for Maple Grove, Abby Schulte and Becca White. Becca, we'll start with you. 4 points all season. You get 3 of the biggest points in your career. Tell me about that last shot.
I don't know. They passed me the ball, and I was told to shoot, so I just shot it.
Well, if they tell you to shoot, shoot it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Have you run that all in practice, or was that just spur of the moment?
We've never ran that. It was just the moment.
I take it that's the first time you've hit a buzzer beater?
In AAU, but that's about it, yeah.
Okay, your first high school buzzer beater.
Yeah.
So you know what? You were ready for this moment then. If you got one in AAU, you were probably all set to go. Did you know they were going to run that last play for you with 9.5 seconds to go?
No.
Well, Abby, did you know you were going to kick out to Becca with 9.5 seconds left?
I mean, they put in Becca because she's a great shooter, and I knew I had shooters all around me, so I was just looking to drive, and if I had the drive, then I had that, or I had full trust in my shooters, obviously for good reason. But yeah, was just looking for what they gave us.
I was going to say maybe a little decoy or trick play because I imagine you expected a lot of coverage to go your way, and then you find Becca in the corner. When you saw her open like that, what was the reaction?
I knew it was going in the whole time. It looked good. I was right under the basket, and so I was just excited, yeah.
You get a big win over Chaska, and you've had a few signature wins already this season, but to grind it out in overtime, to fight off Mallory Higher, who had a terrific overtime session, and just this Chaska team that wouldn't go away, what does that say about this team's grit?
I think it says a lot about our fight, and we can definitely come back. They had 4 points on us early in overtime, and we fought back and ended up with a win, and that's all we care about.
Now, Abby, you've been a part of 2 state tournament teams with the Crimson winning Section 8 2 years in a row. How do you think those appearances, those postseason runs have helped build this team up to win a close game like this?
Yeah, going to the state tournament 2 years in a row has really helped with our experience. A lot of the girls that are on the team now, especially the juniors, have been to state tournaments, and so that I think helps motivate us to want to get back, and we know what it takes to get there, and it's a lot of hard work, and we're really determined to get there again.
Now, Becca, are you prepared for the autograph requests and all the fandom that's about to come your way?
Sure.
And overall, just how exciting is it to get an overtime win at the buzzer? I imagine as players you dream about that 5-4-3-2-1, to see it happen, play out. How cool is that?
It was really cool. We knew Chaska was going to be a really good team coming in. They're highly ranked, and so we knew it was going to come down to being close, and we were here to compete, and that's exactly what we did, and just came on top.
Yeah, the same thing she said. We knew that it was going to be a really close game, and we knew we just had to work hard on defense and let our offense come to us, yeah.
All right, you want to say hi to anybody?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? All these supporters, all the folks that came out that were willing to put aside the Vikings game?
I can say hi to them here.
I suppose. What about those two?
Hi to my sister.
Well, you could not have 2 more contrasting players. Abby Schulte closing in on 1,000 points. Becca White, 7 points all season. But what matters is you get the win, right?
Yes, exactly. That's all we care about.
Yeah, that's all we care about.
Well, Becca, hopefully you get a few more points coming your way. But now you know if it comes down to last-second heroics, you're ready. You know how to get the job done.
Yeah.
What a win. I'm still stunned. LaToya's still stunned.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. One heck of a game. Thanks for putting on a show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was our pleasure.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Abby Schulte, you'll see you're at North Dakota State next season, and I guess the Bison had a football championship today too, so
Yeah.
a lot to cheer for today.
Yes.
And Becca White, you'll see her get some more buzzer beaters, hopefully. But that does it from Maple Grove. We'll see if we can get our breath and get our energy back for more games, but until then, for LaToya, Turk, and the rest of our crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thanks for watching.